Time's up. What do you have, Fer?
As I keep growing, I didn't write it down, but I translated in my head, in my mind. So as I keep growing,
As I keep growing,
I keep realizing that more people have more insecurities than
Sorry,
mine.
I realizing? Or I
Mhm.
realize? I didn't hear that. As I keep
As I keep
growing,
growing, I
comma,
realize
realize
that more people
that more people
have more insecurities than mine.
secures than mine. I wrote more insecure. No, I didn't want to say that. Me doy cuenta que más gente posee las mismas inseguridades.
Okay, so I realized that más me doy cuenta que más gente posee. I realized that more people have the same insecure. I don't know if it's insecure or insecurities.
Exactly. Yes.
Than mine.
The same. So which one do you want to use? Insecure or insecure?
Insecurities
Okay. Insecurities and mine.
than mine. Then conocer más y más personas. I don't know. When meeting more and more people.
More and more people.
My mind opens to mind opens to new I don't know if it's possibilities or empathize possibilities.
Okay, I'm gonna teach you one word because the word empathize exists, but I think the word the word empathize exists. Let's check it out. Empathize. To understand another person's feelings and experience usually because you have been in a similar situation. Okay, no, yes. The thing is that in English exists the word sympathize, which is not similar to Spanish. But if you look at this, to feel sorry for somebody, to show that you understand and feel sorry about someone's problems. It's a little bit different, but people use it as a synonym for empathize.
Okay.
Which very different to Spanish, no? Sympathize is not feeling sorry in Spanish. But good, okay. That's not the point, no? The idea is this is only extra vocabulary, but I want to check what structures you use. And I see that you are using a very close sentence that I want to teach you today, especially here. The word as. You know? So, in a moment when I see what is the sentence, what about Sophie's? How would you translate this sentence?
I grow the more I am older.
The more I'm older,
Yeah, comma.
Okay.
I realize that more people have more insecurity than mine.
I corrected it. It was the same, not more.
Mm, have more people have, yeah, because it's
Uh-huh. What do more people have?
uh, but more people have the same sorry,
Exactly.
the same insecurities than mine.
Than
I,
mine.
I don't know. It's a topic that I got confused on weekend. That is mine
Uh-huh.
or mine, because now I don't know when you use an extra s in the possession word. I I
Always, always use it
find
mine versus my. My is a description, so it goes before. And mine with an N at the end is
mm,
is like, let's say, the complement, the object.
no, yeah, I know that. No, I mean it's with an extra s minds, or for example her, and there's something exercise that have hers with an extra s,
Hmm.
you know?
Okay, okay, but that's not the same thing because
No.
mine and mines. Mine and mines is the difference is plural and singular.
Ah, okay.
And her and hers, the difference is adjective versus object. If you say her blouse is red and this blouse is hers.
Okay.
In that case there's no plural and singular involved. But with mine,
Is
mines,
so in this case is
mines.
mine, because we are talking about insecurity.
Let me check because I remember using mines. Mines. Some people say mines, but that's incorrect. Okay, check this out. Why do some people say mines instead of mine when they are referring to something that belongs to them? I hate to break it to you, but it's not the British word, the anomaly. No, it's not the one. My husband is Cajun from Louisiana and says mines when referring to something of his. It drives me nuts, but I gave up trying to correct him. His English isn't good anyway, as he dropped out of school. No, that's incorrect.
Okay.
People, people say mines, but that's not good. That's not grammatically correct. He was raised speaking Cajun French, so maybe that has something to do with it. That's interesting. Cajun. Three pronouns that don't exist. You see?
Okay.
Minds is a dictionary recognized word, but only as a plural noun. Plural. They sentenced the criminal to hard labor in the mines. Ah, yes, a plural noun. In the mines. We are talking about the minery. This type of mines to extract.
Okay.
You see? So as a
Yeah.
plural noun, it exists, but as a pronoun, it doesn't.
Okay.
Uh, whose pen is this? That's mine's. That's impossible. Incorrect.
Okay.
Here it is. Mine is exception. The other nominative possessive pronouns are yours, his, hers, its, ours, and theirs. The only one that doesn't fit the pattern is mine.
Okay.
That's the answer.
Okay.
Good. Good. That was a
Thank you.
that was
Thank you.
a nice parenthesis.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Uh-huh. By When I meet more and more people.
Okay, you too.
Like,
When I met more and more people.
uh,
Uh-huh.
more and more people, my mind open to
Are you talking in
open.
past or in future or in present?
No, 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 no. In present, opens. My mind
Opens
open. Open to a new
to a new.
possibilities. To well, I also write in empathize.
Good. Uh-huh. Okay, so watch out. A new possibilities. That's a pleonasm. Possibilities is plural.
Yeah.
You see?
Uh-huh.
New possibilities. I am so interested on both of you using when. You see? Both of you used when for some reason. That's very interesting. In a moment, we're gonna check out. What about Luis? What do you have? How do you translate this sentence?
I sorry. As I more grow up,
As I more grow up.
grow up,
Okay.
I realize
Analyze.
uh, I realize that more people have the same insecurities as mine.
Uh-huh.
By meeting more and more people,
Very nice.
my mind opens up to new possibilities of empathizing.
My mind opens
Up to new possibilities
to new possibilities. Opens
of
up to new
empathizing.
possibilities of empathizing. Very good. This part of empathizing is also good. It's another form to say the same thing. Very good.
Okay.
And you use the connector by. By was a very, very good strategy. By meeting more and more people. Okay, I'm gonna give you what do I have in mind for the following lesson. Okay. So you used by and when. The two options are an easy. I think the word when is a very fundamental way to translate that. And the verb, the description by, it was a a much better solution. But I'm going to give you two words that are going to work. It's going to be a word and a structure with comparatives. Okay? Input with them. The more I grow, comma, the more I realize that people have the same insecurities as I do. Look at this structure, eh? The more I grow, the more I realize. Are you familiar with this phrasing?
Not exactly, but it sounds very clearly. Or,
Yep.
I mean, if I read this, I understand.
You understand, right? Perfect. That's exactly the thing about this. It's very clear to understand, but the structure is not similar to what we are usually used to, right? You know? Because it's a little bit different from Spanish. The instead of starting the sentence with as, I used this structure and then I used as after. As I know, also as I meet more people, my mind opens to new possibilities to empathize. Now my connector as is here. So we need to understand this is the way your speech becomes more native and it becomes more English. So when you are writing and when you are speaking, this particular strategy, this translation, is more valuable for the test and for a native speaker. You know, like if they are listening to you, it's more valuable to hear this specific structure. And this is the structure that we are going to study today. This structure is a speaking and writing strategy, which is production. So we can understand when to use it. If you notice, in the first section, we have double comparison. Conforme más crezco, this is the first comparison, más me doy cuenta, the second comparison. You see? In the second sentence, you only have one. Al conocer más y más personas, mi mente se abre a nuevas posibilidades. So, how many comparatives do you have in the second sentence? Only one. Every time you detect two comparatives, you should use the structure. The structure the and the. Okay? Think about this. If you study more, do you learn more? Yes. The more I study, the more I learn. You use this structure when one factor depends on the other. One factor is going to grow, or one factor is going to compare even more, depending on the last one. The plus the. We use this to equalize stuff. In what other occasions have you used this? You can give me like situational examples. Anyone?
For example, in like real life, when some patients make the plan better than others.
Follow the plan.
That's the word. Follow the plan better than others. So I tell them that the more they follow the plans correctly, the more they're gonna get faster results.
Perfect. Very good. That's a very good idea. Oh, look at that. That was a very interesting one. The more they're gonna get faster. You need to select which comparative you're going to use. Because the word more is very optional in English, remember? That you can change the word more for other comparatives. So in this case, you can say the faster.
Okay.
Right? Repeat your sentence.
So it could be the more you follow the plan, the faster you get results, or
Yeah.
the more you follow the plan, the fast. No, the more you follow. Okay, the more
Yeah.
you follow the plan, the more you
The
get
more
results.
results. Yeah, no, the more results.
Mhm.
I like the well, both of them. The more results you will get, or the faster you will get results. The first one, the second one sounds better. The faster,
Mhm.
you know. I like that one. And very observative. The word more. We need to remember the rules of comparatives, because when we think in Spanish, it is very easy to use more for everything, you know. So technically, don't use more for everything. It is a very common Spanish mistake that we use when we produce English. You know, the comparative is used to compare. We have rules. Let me give you. Let's remember the rules of comparatives, okay? I have a slide about that. Comparing. Structures, now. Language adaptation, yeah. So this is, even though this is kindergarten English, a lot of people have problems with it. A lot of them. So I have this. There we go. Don't use more for everything. Comparatives review. There we go. In the slide, you will see that we use adjectives with more than, or when we have as an adjective with 3 or more syllables, I would say 2 or more syllables, we use the word more. Okay? For example, we have smoking is more dangerous. Dangerous, 3 syllables. You see? In this case is when we use the word more. Or when, in your example, when you have the more I grow up. Here we are not, the only word that we are using to compare is more, because we do have an adjective, right? And on the other side, we have adjectives with 1 or 2 syllables, which are short adjectives. With short adjectives, we use er, are, or ear, depending on the spelling, you know? Comparing using adjectives with 1 or 2 syllables, or adjectives ending in y. That's the one. Ending in y. For example, the word happier in this sentence. She was happier than today. Usually the word happy ends in, in what? Hello, are you there? I repeat, the word happy ends in
Why?
why, exactly. So when you change it to comparative, you need to change the why to I, and it becomes happier. So even though it has two syllables, because usually two syllable adjectives are used with more, but more happy is incorrect. You see what I mean? Adjectives. And then we have this part of exceptions. Some verbs, some adjectives, sorry, use both structures. For example, you have this. Dying of cancer is likelier than because of a meteorite. Likelier is similar to say more probable. The list of exceptions is very short. It's only likely and, for example, pretty. Some people say more pretty and other people say prettier, you know? But that's just an example that we need to observe to memorize, you know? In this case, use both structures. The one that I think we need to memorize a lot are irregular adjectives. You need to memorize your exceptions. The comparative for good is better. No more good. You know? The comparative for well is better as well. Not more well. You know? Or weller, you know? That's even worse. Bad and worse, far and farther. A little and a few, when you're talking about quantities, is less. You compare using less. And you can use also this in this structure. The less I know, the better. This is a song from Tame Impala. Do you know this song? Oh, come on. You are...
I have a question.
Yes.
Fewer does not exist?
Which one?
Fewer.
Totally, yes, fewer. But fewer is talking about... It's talking about countable things. Fewer, let's say... I have fewer papers on my desk than yesterday. You know? But it's more common to use less. I have less papers on my desk than yesterday. Like, which one sounds more common? It's your choice. And that's it. Much and many, when you are comparing with much and many, you use more. And these are the exceptions. Right? So let me play a small portion of the song. I love the song. Subtitles, lyric. No, in Spanish, no. In English. Okay, check this out. You know this song, right? Come on. It's a classic. The point is right here. Let's suppose in the song, the guy the guy is having a crush with a woman, with a girl in his school that likes another boy, Trevor. Have you paid attention to the lyrics? No, right? Oh, it's a beautiful song. So this guy is super sad because Trevor and this girl, like, they like each other very much, and he is insignificant to the girl. Trevor went, no, his crush went to Trevor's house. Oof. The less I know, the better. I don't want to know what they did in Trevor's house. You know what I mean? It's a beautiful song. And yes, the name of the song is precisely talking about Trevor automatically. I don't want to know because I love her so much, and she went to Trevor's house. In the video, Trevor is a monkey. And Trevor is a very massive monkey, super muscular and super buffed. And the woman is like beautiful, dancing and everything. And he is watching them in the distance. Oh, so sad. You see? The less I know, the better recommendation. Listen to this, and this is precisely the structure that we are watching in this moment. Right? Do you understand the sentence?
Yes, teacher.
Cool. Cool. So that's precisely what we are talking about. The less, the better. The more, the faster. The big, the bigger. Okay? Check this out. Relevant examples. Start reading, please. It's a hello.
Hello, teacher.
Hallelujah, eh?
Relevant examples, comparative adjectives or adverbs. We can repeat the structure. The plus comparative plus subject plus verb to mean that one thing depends on another, or that two variable
Variety.
variable,
Mm-hmm.
yes, or that two variable quantities are related. No, related.
Mm-hmm.
The hilder,
What's in a word of a person that has good health?
hildier,
Again, answer my question. What's the name of a person that has a good health?
healthy,
Healthy. Compare?
healthier. Okay.
Excellent.
The healthier you eat, the better you feel.
Mm-hmm.
The harder.
Mm-hmm.
The harder he works, the more stressed he is. Yes.
Very good. There you have it. So it's, if you analyze the structure, you have the plus comparative plus subject. The healthier you eat. In this case, you have person verb complement. You see? After the comparative. So it's the more person verb complement, similar to the example that you have in this section. The more I grow. It's the comparative person verb. The comparative person verb. You see the sequence? But this is not the only sequence. You can also use an omitted verb. Look at this note. When we have the verb to be, we can omit it. The verb be can be omitted. The longer the wait, the more agitated the people become. The longer the wait. In this position, we are supposed to have a verb to be. The longer the wait is. You see what I mean? We can omit the verb be because hashtag English. Usually for descriptions, for example, in the song. In the song, we have the less I know, the better. The less I know, the better it is for me. We are omitting the verb be. You see? Why do we omit it? Just because it's more comprehensible if we omit it. We are like, that's the most important information, the description, not the verb. Who wants to try with an example? Try to give an example with this. It's maybe fun. Yeah. Give me an example where you need to omit the verb be. You can do this, you can do this.
Teacher, I have one, I think.
Okay, try.
The better the weather, it's pronounced the weather.
Yeah, the weather, you're talking about the temperature?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
The better the weather, the happier people
The happier people.
is. Well, I don't know. I
Exactly.
think that
We
is the
need the
second
verb.
one. You cannot omit the verb to be.
Nah, it has to go in the first one because it sounds very weird.
Uh-huh. It's like, okay.
Exactly. It's like the people what, like we're missing a compliment. So it needs to go at first.
Okay, so the better the weather, the happier people is.
People, plural.
People are.
People are, exactly. And this is an example. The better the weather, not the better the weather is. Do you agree? That's an excellent example.
But also, if I say the better the weather is, it makes sense. So,
Yeah, I mean, yes, I understand your question. You can use the better the weather is, but that's not necessary. You know, if you omit it, I understand that what you are saying.
okay.
That's precisely the thing. So that was a very good example. Does anybody have another one?
I have one.
Excellent. Go, Alex.
The higher the goal, the satisfaction will be.
Excellent. The higher the goal, the what?
The satisfaction will be.
Oh, wow. The higher the goal, the satisfaction would be. The second one doesn't have a comparative, but it makes sense. Very nice, eh? Very, very nice example. That was a good one. All right. Did you have that from a song, or where did you take that from?
No, I just think in an
You came
example.
up.
Sorry?
Phrasal, you came up with it.
No, I don't understand.
Come
What
up
do
is
you say?
a phrasal verb that means
Okay.
think of an example.
Okay. Come up?
Come up.
Okay.
You came up with it. Very nice.
I don't hear
All
that
right. Well,
expression.
take another one
Come
about
up.
this one. Very good.
Come up. Okay.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Excellent. Excellent. Any other?
The farther the school, the earlier you have to wake up.
Exactly. Omitting the verb to be. The farthest the school is. No? Perfect. Perfect. No problem. No problem with that. There you have. These are very good examples, the ones we are choosing right now. Now, I collocated in the next slide the grammatical variations that you can have. The idea here is that you change different word family components, including nouns, adjectives, and adverbs. Check the examples that you have here. In the first area, it says, the more, the less, plus a noun. Okay? What is a noun? A concept. A countable noun. A countable thing or an uncountable thing. A name, etc. So you have, the more exercise you do, exercise is a noun. The fitter you get. Fitter is the adjective. The less carbohydrates you consume, the healthier you will be. Person verb complement. This is a very normal sentence. The more things, the less things. You need a concept. But then in the next set, we have only the adjective. Exclusively the adjective. The older, the higher, the younger, the angrier, the stronger, the heavier, the older. We are using adjective and adjective. Right? And at the end, we have adverbs. Look at these descriptions, eh? The more carefully you plan, the better the results will be. When you use an adverb, make sure you are using a verb because you are comparing verbs. It's the way you do things. So it's the adverb, verb. The more quickly a car is driven, the more likely it is to cause an accident. Likely is not an adverb, eh? Likely is similar to possible. The harder you work, the more rapidly, this is definitely another. The more rapidly you will obtain results. This one is the most difficult one. The more hurriedly something is done, the more easily mistakes are made. As you can see, there is a sequence. It's adverb, adverb and verb. Adverb and verb. Always. Let's see what easy as. Do you get this? Try to give me with two actions, or you're describing or comparing two actions. Give me an example. You can come up with one.
I think that I have one.
Okay.
So the more no wait, I think it's incorrect.
Try to use it. We can fix it.
Can I use the same adverb
If you
in
want
the
to.
examples or?
For training purposes, yes. Try to use it.
Okay. So the more carefully you are,
Okay.
the longer your computer works.
Kinda. Because you cannot use an adverb with a verb be.
Okay.
It has to be the more careful you are.
Okay.
Therefore, you need an action verb. Like, in this case, for example, the more carefully you treat your computer. the more carefully you use it. Try to correct it.
So the more carefully you use, and I have to say, the more carefully you use your computer,
Exactly.
the longer it will works.
The longer it will work. Excellent. It will work without the S.
Okay. Oh, okay. It
Because
will
we
work.
have will.
Mm-hmm.
That is correct. In this case, that was a very, very nice, like a small mini review for adverbs. The difference between an adverb and an adjective is an adjective is used after adverb to be. This is quick. But if the verb is not the verb to be, another different verb, the computer turns up quickly, not quick. Okay. This one is the thing. Actually, if you dominate adverbs, naturally you can get more points. Naturally. So take notes about that. Okay. How to use adverbs. Another example. Who has another one?
I have one. The stronger I practice my grading, right?
The
The more
stronger I practice. Okay, continue.
my grading, the more likely I pass the tool.
Okay, the stronger I practice. Stronger. You don't practice strong.
Or harder. I didn't know which is.
Which to use. Okay, let's use a strong. So you can understand the difference between adverb and adjective. Strong is an adjective. But if you want to
Okay.
describe the way you do things, you need to add li at the end.
But in the case of the example that is harder.
Yep. That's an exception. There is a list of exceptions when we're talking about adverbs. Let me show you. Adverb formation. Here. Exceptions. Some adverbs have the same form as adjectives. The most common are fast, because it's not fastly. Left, hard. The word hardly exists, but the word hardly means almost. Almost not. So if I say I hardly wake up, this is similar to say I almost don't wake up. You see? Very different from only hard. Hard is similar to difficult or strong. So this list is a list of exceptions. Left, hard, outside, right, straight, late. Late and lately, very different words. Welly doesn't exist. And the words daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly are considered adverbs and adjectives at the same time. You can use it both ways. But in this list, you don't have the word strong.
Okay, teacher, I'm taking advantage of we are review this topic. I have a doubt with beautiful. What about beautiful and beautifully?
Precisely. Beautifully,
because
beautifully is the
I
same.
did some exercise and I got really confused. I'm going to read the exercise.
Please. Okay, while Sophie is finding the exercise, Jessie will pass attendance. Go, yes.
Thank you. Good
Hello.
morning, everyone.
Hi, girl.
So I will do is Connie.
Connie absent.
It's a
Hi.
hi. It's thank you. Jesus.
Jesus absent.
Alex.
Hi, good morning.
Hi, Alex. Good morning. Thank you. Per.
Here, Jessie, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you. Sophie.
Hi, baby. Morning.
Morning, Sophie. And Isla.
Isra absent.
Oh, that's all. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.
You too, girl.
Thank you.
Ready. Did you find it?
Yeah. But I think that now it has more sense to me. Okay. It says this she sings very and then there's an space. And the options it's beautiful or beautifully.
Precisely.
I
Now you know which one to use.
and I understand. I just understand that every time is very the second you have to use an adverb beautifully, clearly, very beautifully, and something like that. But when I did this, I didn't understand why. It's like no, for me, sounds very beautiful. Very beautiful. She sings very beautiful. I
Okay,
didn't understand.
wait. But the rule that you are saying that every time you use very, you need to use beautifully?
It's what I understand when I did the exercise, but I didn't understand why.
Understood.
Understood. Sorry.
Okay.
But I didn't understand why.
Uh-huh.
I just realized that day that it's like a rule,
Uh-huh.
but I didn't understand why. You
What's
know?
the rule now?
Exactly. It's like for me, I still think that beautiful sounds better, or in my mind is like very beautiful. Why very beautifully?
You are not taking into consideration what you are describing. Because you are focused on the very, and you are limiting your vision to the very. But what happens if you eliminate very? That's the important part. Very is only an emphasis.
Yeah, in the case of the exercises, when you don't have very, you use the adjective. For example, uh,
Wait. What you need to understand what you are describing. In this case, what are you describing?
the way she sings.
The way she sings. If you
Okay.
describe the way something is done, which is parenthesis, grammatical parenthesis, a verb, you need an
Mhm.
adverb. That's the rule. Take a note. If you describe a verb, you use an adverb.
Mhm.
If you describe a noun, you need an adjective. So the word very has nothing to do with this rule.
Yeah, you're right. So
That's the
when
thing.
we describe actions, we use an adverb.
Perfect. That word
And when we
termination li.
uh-huh. Okay. Okay, thank you, teacher. It
Fast.
now it's clear for me. Thank you.
Super clear, yeah, because you were creating things. Look at this, very beautiful and very beautifully. The two are correct. That's my point. The difference is, what are you describing? An action or a person or a thing?
Yeah.
Right?
I didn't know that.
Welcome
I
to
really didn't know that.
fantastic.
That's I really get confused because you say she's very beautiful and it's like, yeah, beautiful sounds good. But
And she sings or she walks or she does very
beautifully.
beautifully. Therefore, coming back to your example, the more you, it was about the
And
way you
the
learn English.
stronger is the stronger.
Wrong. Strong,
Yeah.
stronger comes from the adjective strong. But you are describing the verb practice.
So it's strongly.
Exactly, strongly. Give me the comparative for strongly.
The more strongly.
Stronglier. Because if we see the comparatives, it's the is used. Where are the comparatives?
Stronglier.
Here.
Okay, so also we can transform the adverb to with
To a
the same rules.
comparative.
We use the same rules.
Exactly. Because according to the rules, comparing using adjectives with one or two syllables, we use er. But also adjectives ending in y. Adverbs usually end in y.
Adjectives or adverb. Okay.
Exactly. Adverbs usually end in y because it's ly. So strongly quickly Look at this. The more quickly, that's another option because these are two words, but you can say the quicklier a car is driven. Faster, harder, etc. You see? That's why this lesson was super, super important.
Yeah, it is.
Another example, it's Alex describing an action. Anyone? No? No other? What else do you have? No more examples, right? Okay. Well, let's keep it over there. Right? These are relevant examples using an adjective, right? Using the to compare. Like technically we need to repeat this formula. The comparative, right? In the example that we had at the beginning of the class, I also use the word as. Because as is an adverb as well. Okay? And when you use as in this context, you need to keep in mind that we are talking about at the same time. This is a preposition, I need the adverb. As using to compare two things. Used to say something happens at the same time. Now then we need a conjunction. Aha. This is as a conjunction is similar to say while something else is happening. Take a note about this. You know that you use the word when, no? In the beginning. Yes, the word when is usually used to substitute the word while. Because when you are talking about simultaneous actions, you say, when I was cooking, the phone rang. While I was cooking, the phone rang. So there is no big difference in that. But when you are talking about when the moment is happening, or when the moment happens, then a difference is very clear between while and when. It's more common to use while if you are talking about, let's check it out. While. During the time. Synonym when. Used to contrast two things. While Tom's very good at science, no. Well, I am willing to help. They are synonyms. When and while. So the word as is used. Oof, that's going to be a very difficult way to difference. As I was, when I was cooking, as I was cooking, while I was cooking. Sounds different, but the dictionary says it's not. Nah. So in your examples, probably you're correct. When I met more and more people. When meeting more and more people. I need a difference. As if, as it is, as it were. Okay. I found it. Okay, check this out. The word as, the difference between as and while and when is that you are describing a process. Describing a process. Look at this. This diagram illustrates the process of paper making. Okay, with this is a series of steps to make paper. First, logs are delivered to a paper mill. Do you know what is a log? No? It's the part of the tree that you cut. Right? That's a portion of a tree. So first, logs are delivered to a paper mill, where the bark is removed and the wood is cut into small chips. Right? So it's very, very, very tiny. Next, the wood chips are pulped, either using chemicals or in a pulping machine. Pulping breaks down the internal structure of the wood and enables the natural oils to be removed. Once the wood has been pulped, the pulp is bleached in order to remove impurities. The next stage is to feed the pulp, and here it is. As the pulp travels along the conveyor belt, as the pulp travels, this one is kind of similar to while, but while is not describing a process. And this particular as cannot be substituted with when the pulp travels along the conveyor belt, because we are not describing a process when you use when. Necessary to use as.
Then, for example, in the sentence that you gave us to translate, it couldn't be as.
It could, because as you grow up, you meet more and more and more people.
In the second sentence, it said something about al conocer más y más personas.
This is the process.
As meeting more people, well, more and more people.
You can use a person verb complement, as I meet.
As I meet. So everything could be a process?
Exactly. Yes. Everything could be a process. When you use when, you cannot use when in this case because this is a process of meeting people. Everything can be a process. It depends on the intention of the sentence.
And when could we use when?
It's more commonly used when you are talking in past. When I did, when I went, when I traveled, talking about a particular moment in the past. That's why it sounds very, very strange using when in this particular translation.
We can say that we also use when or while when for simple action. I mean, like the phone rang and while I was cooking, it's not a process. I mean, it's just an action that you are doing in that moment.
In that moment, exactly. Let's call them simultaneous. For simultaneous actions, when things were for interrupted actions, And in this context, we use them in past, if you notice. While I was doing that, something else happened. But if we're talking in present, as I do is more common. And it makes more sense. As we learn more, as we do, as we are knowing each other, that's talking in present, as we are knowing each other better, etc. Right? This is the beginning of conjunctions in English.
I have one last doubt.
Yes, of course. Tell me. Question, because doubt is uncountable.
Okay, I have a question. Is it correct if I use while in present? Like, if I want to say, cuando yo bailo, ella canta. And I can say, while I'm dancing, she's singing.
Yes, of course.
Okay.
While I'm dancing, she's singing.
Or when I'm dancing, she's singing.
It depends a lot on the context, but because both sound right.
Okay. But can I say it also as I'm dancing, she's singing?
Exactly. That sounds super strange.
Okay.
So then what's the issue? Because but in what context would you say that? What will be the conversation
when
about?
you want to, maybe in a routine, when you want to tell your routine, your daily routine.
Uh-huh.
Or yeah, for example, if a mom explain what her daughter or sons are doing, like if they say, why
Okay.
your daughter and son are doing it, and she can say, okay, well, it will be different.
No, yeah, that's excellent. I would say that it would be when because it's a constant thing, right? It's not a process. That's the most important part, and it's a very normal action. When I do this, the other person does that.
Okay.
So technically, the reason, yes, it's present, but the reason we don't use as is because it's not a process.
It's not a process. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Definitely. That was a very nice thing. This part, and that's why I couldn't find it. It's like in the series of events. You should take a note about this. The paper, the word bank. Very good, guys. Excellent class. This is part 1 because we need to continue exploring as, and I have another form to compare and equalize using as. So that's gonna be tomorrow's mission. Got it? I'll meet you tomorrow. Have a very nice day. A very good morning.
Thank you. See you.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.